Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. Now, the year 2025 is kicking off strong, I guess, if you want to say that. There's already things going on that is keeping that energy going, and it's also welcoming more of that same dark energy to have what we're about to discuss happen on the morning of New Year's, according to the Gregorian calendar, is, it's crazy. And that's why I wanted to make the last days video first, because we need to be aware, y'all. And this just proves that video even more about the times that we're living in and the things that are going to continue to happen. No matter what, there's an agenda at hand. There are things that have to play out, that will play out, that some of this stuff's been forced to play out, by the way that they plan it. And by that, I mean this attack, the Cybertruck blowing up in front of the Trump Tower. All of it has meaning. All of it is planned at the end of the day. If it's anything that has to do with politics, it's planned. This is not by chance. There's not one single coincidence in the story that we're about to cover with the New Orleans, attack and this guy right here on the screen. You'll find it to be pretty interesting that there are a lot of similarities with him and the guy who was responsible for blowing up the Cybertruck. And here's just one thing to take notice of before we get into this clip, right? Got a couple clips that I want to go over in this video. It says the suspects in yesterday's attacks, which this was the day after everything happened, on Bourbon Street in New Orleans and Trump Tower in Las Vegas, both served at Fort Bragg, which is a military base in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. It's the same military base Ryan Routh visited over 100 times before attempting to take Donald Trump's life. This is the point where I say there's no coincidence in this world. We don't live by coincidences. That is just not the way it goes. Everything happens for a reason. Nothing is a coincidence. It's all divine timing. There's no such thing as wrong time, wrong place, so on and so on. You get what I'm saying? This is not a coincidence. That now, supposedly Fort Bragg is a huge military base, and there's no, confirmation that they were like a part of the same unit. But I think they did serve in Afghanistan at the same time in 2009, which, the guy who is responsible for the New Orleans attack and the one who is now deceased for the Las Vegas Cybertruck, bomb or whatever he had that blew up the truck. We're going to get more into that. I got some clips that goes into all the details and stuff, so I'm not going to keep this intro too long, y'all. We'll go ahead and get into this video, all right? Check this out.
And that's the New Orleans Bourbon Street attack. At least 10 dead, 30 injured after driver plows into New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Rob, is it 10 or is it 11 now? Can you
it's 15.
Yeah, it's up to 16, I believe.
Oh. Is it 16 now? Okay, so is it really 16 now, Rob?
It was 15 last night. I saw it multiple news sources
check to see
around
what the
midnight.
death toll is now? I thought it was higher than that. 15. Okay, death toll. Let's open that one up, Rob, if you could. So death toll rises to 15 in New Orleans, terrorism attack. The suspect in the deadly attack that killed 15 people and injured dozens of others has been identified by the FBI. Let me read a little bit more to see if we have any other facts on this one here. 35 injured. This happened, a truck rammed into crowds on Bourbon Street at 3:15 a.m., followed by a gunfight with police. The driver described as hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. According to Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, was killed by officers. The FBI, which is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism, at first they didn't want to say it, but they eventually said it, revealed that at least one suspected improvised explosive device was found at the scene, although its connection to the driver remains unconfirmed. Witness Jimmy Cothran described seeing 8 bodies sprawled out on the street, adding dead right in front of us was someone's mother, twisted, obviously deceased. One man deceased had tire tracks across his back and stomach and was clearly crushed. A little girl, oh my God, a little girl that we had seen dancing was as flat as a pillow. That's even tough to read. Oh my goodness. And a ton has come out on this individual. Even one of the stories that came out on the addendum, at FBI confirms terror suspect Shamsud Dean Jabraz flying ISIS flag. Is that it, Rob, that he's flying the ISIS flag?
So this is the clip of the truck. I have it before it goes into the crowd if you want to show it.
Yeah, show it
and then
before
I
it goes
also
into the
have
crowd.
other B-roll of the truck as
Okay,
well.
let's see some B-roll here.
So this is
That's 3:15 a.m.
This is just traffic on the side street.
and he's gonna take a right here.
Now let me ask
shortly.
you a question. What camera is so focused on that truck?
That's a
Why
very
is
good.
that camera following it? Why does the camera know to follow the white truck?
But see-
Ask you, why, Tom, why does the camera know to follow that?
Because he got out, he had a gun, he had 2 guns, and he had devices on him. But as soon as he got out, they started shooting at him.
So do you have the clip of President Biden saying that the New Orleans attacker who killed 15 was inspired by Islamic State group? Do you have that clip?
Yes,
Go
sir.
for it.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack,
Hours.
he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possibly.
Do you have the clip of him saying the things?
What?
Of what he's going to be doing? Like actual...
I don't know if they let them post that.
I've not seen that. I've seen multiple news sources talking about it, but I could not find the clip.
The only video that they have released is the video of him talking about being a realtor.
But this is years ago.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
2021.
And this, by the way, this guy was a former vet. I think he was stationed at the 82nd, if I'm not mistaken. And if you want to play the clip, go for it.
He's served in Afghanistan.
I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch.
The president of the United States, who's obviously asleep behind the wheel, said on camera the FBI knew about this guy hours before ISIS and all that stuff. Where was the manhunt? Where was the, letting everybody know, giving everybody a heads up? It's like what is that? It's not about DEI seminars or Donald Trump. It seems as if nobody's working. That's my opinion. And then you're going to see the FBI chick in New Orleans talking about this isn't a terror attack. Did you see this? And look what's right underneath her. New Orleans dealing with the terrorist attack. And this is what the FBI says.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street,
Why does she sound so
specifically from
nervous?
Canal Street to
Now, this is something to take note of. The surveillance images released by the FBI show Jabbar dressed neatly in a long light brown coat, a dark button-down shirt, blue jeans, and brown dress shoes, about an hour before the attack at 2:03 a.m. Additional images show coolers Jabbar allegedly placed on the street. Officials said he planted improvised explosive devices inside with the intention of causing added carnage. Federal authorities were also searching an Airbnb property in New Orleans rented by Jabbar that caught fire early Wednesday morning, as well as Jabbar's home in Houston. So I don't know if they're saying it caught fire in Houston as well, or they were just, searching his house in Houston. So going to what they were saying about the camera footage, if I'm not mistaken, someone was actually recording that from a cell phone. It looks like, which I think the podcast guys, I think they missed it. Someone was recording a computer that was playing the footage, and they were recording it with their cell phone. So that's how they were following the truck. So I don't think that one is, too much of a big deal. They definitely missed that it was a computer screen being recorded, right? But still have no idea where the footage actually came from, who actually put that out, so on and so on. So it still raises a couple of questions. They were also talking about the fact that the FBI may have known about this before it happened. And even in this article, it says the FBI said that hours before the attack, Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas, posted 5 videos on his Facebook account in which he proclaimed his support for the Islamic State group and previewed the violence that he would soon unleash in the famed French Quarter district. It was the deadliest IS-inspired assault on U.S. soil in years, laying bare what federal officials have warned is a resurgent international threat. Now, this stuff goes deep because I believe it's all political, and a lot of this stuff, like I said, this is planned. They allow this stuff to happen. And I think there's things that attach to this that's, a lot of people aren't necessarily thinking about. Before we get into the next clip, that we have cover more of this topic, I'm a huge college football fan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My favorite team is the Georgia Bulldogs, right? Georgia Bulldogs just happen to be playing Notre Dame, Catholic university. It also kind of goes back to the Pope opening these ceremonial doors. A lot of people say these portals, to the demonic realm, so to speak, right? We also know that the Super Bowl is also being played very soon in New Orleans. And we know that comes with trafficking, that comes with rituals, that comes with a lot of stuff when so many people are being gathered in one area. A lot of energy harvesting, very good times for them to create storylines, to bring back around this act of terror. I don't want to say that word too many times, and I'm trying to get this video out as clean as I can because the topic we're dealing with, y'all know how YouTube gets, so you know what I'm talking about. But there's also that play at hand. We're talking about up to 15 people being killed. And we just had, the Pope in the news on Christmas Day. Why Christmas Day? Ask yourself that question. And then the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, y'all. Georgia and Notre Dame, they were supposed to play the day that this happened, but the game got postponed. Huge, energy harvesting ritual that this also could have been, As I said, I think, this goes pretty deep outside of it being an act of terror. Once again, I don't want to say that word completely. So that's something we also have to consider. So with that, we're going to jump back into the story, look at some more of the similarities between the two guys from the Cybertruck and this guy, Jabbar, from the New Orleans attack, right? So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Mind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber. And if you'll notice on a lot of these that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. Number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gun wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. What's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles.
All right, y'all. So to pretty much wrap this video up, you just have to ask yourself, what is the chances of all of these similarities between the two guys who both rented the vehicles from Toro? They both served at Fort Bragg, the same military base, and they both served in Afghanistan in the same year. And they both just happened to, commit these acts on the same day, basically. What is the chance of that? Of if this is not something planned or, there's an agenda behind this, with the whole terror thing, the Islamic State, him supposedly having the flag in his car, put out a video 5 hours, put out 5 videos, I think they said, hours before the attack of what seemed to be, a working businessman, head in the right place, and just out of nowhere, his homeboys, a part of the Islamic State called him and said, yo, it's that time. Or, he was activated, or he's been MK Ultra. We have to even bring that part in, because we got to remember what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the army. We're dealing with the military. One was active. The guy that was deceased in the Cybertruck beyond recognition, he offed himself. He unalived himself. Or at least that was what they were getting at. Said he was burned beyond recognition. So we gotta remember what we're dealing with. These are military people. Like I said, the guy was active. His ID didn't expire until 2027. And the other one was former military with the New Orleans attack. So we always have to think of MK Ultra as well, because it's like it came out of left field with this guy. Now, that video where he was talking in the clip on the podcast with PBD, that was from 2021, where it seems like, this is a businessman, blah, blah, blah. And, it seemed like he had his head on straight, so on and so on. You wouldn't think that guy would end up doing what he just did a couple days ago. And it just makes me think about the Manchurian Candidate. It makes me think about MK Ultra, these people being like, cut on, basically, being triggered, Maybe they got a call. Maybe they were triggered, and these were the events that took place after they got that word, they got that call, because this stuff is real. We don't talk about MK Ultra and go over it the way that we do on this channel, for us not to believe it. And when we see things like this happen, this is when MK Ultra needs to be brought up and talked about again. Because I don't see it being like a natural act of terror. I just don't see it. Is it a possibility? Yes, it is. Maybe it is. I'll even play this clip from a former DOD, I guess she was DOD advisor or something like that. She was ex-CIA, and she's basically being interviewed by an ex-Navy SEAL. Now, both people, had high rank in the CIA and the military, so on and so on. So she talks. I've never heard her. Like her videos and the podcast they did about a year ago started going viral when this happened. And when I listened to a good portion of it, she definitely knows what she's talking about with all of this, terror stuff. So I figured we'll just go ahead and end the video with a couple minutes from that clip, because it kind of relates to how they go about doing certain acts of terror. And she was basically predicting this a year ago happening in the United States. So I'll let y'all be the judge of it. I'm not going to come back and talk after this clip. We'll go ahead and wrap the video up with this last couple of minutes, y'all. Let me know what y'all think about this video, man. And yeah, y'all already know, man, we got content coming up. I got another good video I want to drop for y'all. So with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.
How many people, how many fighters do you think we can expect in each attack?
Well, the 1,000 is all of them. So we're calling it's an Al-Qaeda planned attack, but within those 1,000 terrorists, some of them are ISIS because they want ISIS to be blamed. We have a theory on it. I hate to throw out theories. We think the actual
It's the first time I think you've ever thrown out a theory.
I know. I just then people are like, she's crazy. I think the more of the fighter types are going to be ISIS because then if they're caught, then they talk, I'm ISIS. I think more of the suicide bombers are going to be Al-Qaeda.
Will these attacks do you think these attacks will happen simultaneously throughout the United States? Or will they be one day here, next day here, another one over here next week?
So they want them coordinated. I don't know if coordinated means all at the same time or if coordinated means we do it Monday, we do it Tuesday, we do it Wednesday, we do it Thursday, we do it Friday, just do 5 straight days. But they want it coordinated. What's coordinated mean? And the other argument we have, does coordinated also mean U.S. and Europe at the same time? And is Europe all coordinated at the same time? So when they say coordinated, we don't know exactly what that means. So they could also be U.S. and Europe at the same time, which is complicated.